I wanted to share the rule of one with you that I learned from Michael Masterson. And if you haven't heard of Michael Masterson, he's the chief growth strategist at Agora Publishing, which to my knowledge is the biggest information seller on the market. They do over $1 billion a year in revenue. And he is the person who created their entire acquisition machine, which is teams and teams of hundreds of copywriters who generate demand through compelling words. And I think there's something really magical about that, because he not only has been able to do it himself and hit home run after home run after home run offer, but he's been able to duplicate it in other people and create and get people who've never sold a thing to writing copy that generates 20 million, 40 million, 80 million plus just from a single letter or message. And in his book, Great Leads, the first concept that he introduces is arguably the most important, and he calls it the rule of one. And it was just so important to me that I wrote it down and I have it right in front of my computer, because it applies to almost everything, but especially to communication and sales messages. And so whenever, he said, the common thing that most copywriters do, or most business owners who are trying to make an offer to be compelling to a marketplace, what they do is they just stack as many different great things inside as they possibly can, and then say, well, if that one doesn't work, one of them will work, so I'm just going to throw them all in. And he said that's the recipe for, he calls toss salad copy, which is just, you just jumble everything together and you hope, it's throw everything on the wall and see what sticks. But the reality is, the most compelling messages, and he reviewed the top 100 offers of all time since they worked there, 91 of them all centered on a single concept. And so if you think about what that means, it means that you're looking for the one big idea, the one compelling message that has to be easy to understand, easy to believe, and interesting or unique. And so he said those are the three elements of a one big idea. And so when you're thinking about the sales messaging, and this has been really just, I've been putting this as a forefront of my mind, is that when you're writing copy for an advertisement, or you're writing copy for a landing page, the sub-bullets should only be bullets that reinforce the singular message or the singular argument, right? They should be stories, they should be arguments, they should be facts that are presented solely to reinforce the singular concept, right? And so if I said, hey, there's 6 ways to wake up early or something like that, or 6 morning strategies, if each one of them was kind of different, that's like, it's a tossed salad. Whereas if I wanted to center it around one big benefit or one core topic, now the 6 topics that I could have underneath of it are going to still be sub-points of the major one, rather than 15 crazy headline ideas, right? And so for me, that has been incredibly powerful. And if you look at, if you have advertised before and you look at the best converting advertisements that you've ever had, you will probably see that similar trend, where the ones that do best are the simplest, the most direct, and the clearest to understand. Now the issue is, when you only have to pick one, it forces you to be incredibly tactful on your selection, because you're only going to pick one. And so I think what that ends up doing is it forces us as marketers to really think, is this the best idea? Is this the most centralized